So, did you finish watching the little videos that I made of my experiment? Good, good. I couldn't figure it out how to make one smooth video, so I had to make 4 of those, and I hope I still managed to get the message across. I always during my editing process find some notes that I would like to still get out to you guys and share full experience, not only what I captured. Sometimes there's no time in the video, or sometimes there's out of context, so I just made the one conclusion video. This is going to be called, just to describe exactly that. Okay, I need to check. What is fun when shooting landscapes is when you have a cloudy day and the light is just popping through the clouds and touching different parts of the landscape, and you just set up exposure and just watch the light, observe which parts of the scene is touching, and when you like the specific part of the scene being touched, you just take an image. And this is what I enjoy doing, and I think I should go out and do more experiments like I did right now, different parts of Aalborg. As you have probably figured out, I did myself through this video, that it's not really the best location to do these experiments at. I would need either bigger vistas, or I should have probably do this experiment in the same location later in the year, where the sun and the lighting conditions are better. And yeah, also the video wasn't meant to be show how I improved as a photographer or how I nailed my composition skills. It was basically just to see how the light is changing and learn from that, and I thought it would be nice to have a comparison between seasons, let's say. So yeah, I might come in the winter, I might come in spring, document the same place. So if you would ever decide to do something similar, come at the location, try to reshoot it, visiting once more. Try not to come at middle of the morning at 5 AM or something like that. Try to come at any time of the day than the morning or middle of the night, just so it's easier for you to set up, nail the composition right if you want to replicate the same shot, and yeah, just basically make it easy for yourself. Don't do it as I did. I thought, okay, I'm going to set the whole day for this little experiment. I'm going to come in the morning, middle of the day, evening. I should have probably done middle of the day, evening, morning. Would have been way better for me. Also, come prepared. Know the focal lengths, know the exposure settings that you use. They might come in handy. You don't have to memorize them. Just have it on a piece of paper or in your phone, so you would know when you nail the location, when you nail the position of your tripod, if you were shooting with a tripod, so you could also nail the focal length. I think that's important. And also, if you're planning to come to the same location and reshoot it throughout the year, and if it's a bit how to say, and if it is not in the middle of the center, let's say that it's in the forest or it's in the field, just feel free to set up some pins where your tripod legs stood up. Note to yourself how long the tripod legs were, and so it just make it easier for yourself next time to set it up. And photography is just like fishing. I realized I didn't really like fishing my whole life. I would join my father or would join someone else fishing. It would be nice activity just to have a conversation throughout, but I wouldn't be fishing with the light. But fishing in the sense of photography, but when you fish for light, that's a different thing. That's what I enjoy. I could be sitting at a location for hours waiting for the light. So about the morning image, In the morning, light didn't change so much due to, again, the location. I'm blaming myself for choosing this location. Because of the hill, light couldn't come up. The morning light, the colorful, soft light couldn't get onto my tree. Therefore, the image wasn't so pleasing. So the change in light was quite minimal at this location, and it wasn't the most successful reshooting. It's my first one, of course, and it's just nice to know the locations around you that you can be shooting and at which conditions they are the best to be reshooted. I think it's fun to see in different seasons how the image looks and how the image changes, how the environment changes. And so if you know about the location, either it's good or bad conditions, you shot it, you know how it looks, and you know it for the next time, right? So the middle of the day image, I came at a specific hour and specific minute to the location where the sun was exactly at the midpoint, at the highest point. And you could clearly see how the light was as harsh as it could be in this location at this particular day. And you could see how the polarizer and graduated filter really saved the day in a way. Again, image lacked composition, image lacked good light, but removing of the reflections and graduating the sky so it's not overblown, you basically save the image. You can still use it for whatever purposes you want. It's not going to win any contest or not going to get appreciation, but I think it's really useful to have these tools that help you to work with the conditions that you have. And you're not, of course, it takes longer time to set up, it takes longer time to rethink how to shoot it and what filters to use, but I think at the end of the day, if it saves you the shot, I think it's worth the struggle. So of course, while looking at the images in the morning for the first time, I probably shot, and throughout the rest of the day I was shooting at really wide aperture, 5.6, and just as I got back to home, I realized that everything behind the tree is totally blurry, and I kind of like that idea, I think, and I kind of like the look, but I think I would never do that when shooting landscapes. Actually, now I'm thinking that it was unintentionally smart decision, how to say, to isolate the tree. Yeah, okay. So about the evening shots, they look pretty balanced and there's nothing really much to add. One of the best light to shoot at this particular location, if I want smooth exposure, well-balanced exposure. Nothing much to add. And it seems that in the winter time, okay, and now it seems like it doesn't really make sense why I'm shooting this location, but I think in the winter time it's going to be nice to compare this image with the snowy place. Of course, it's going to be harder for me to set up and everything in between, but I think it's going to be worth and nice to look at. Maybe it will appear in one of the, maybe I can create a calendar later on or add it in my collection series. Maybe I should start making more of the series like that. Also, what I could maybe try to address in this video is this blue dot that I'm assuming I get from polarizer or from polarizer and grad mixture. If you can see at the top of the image, when I tweak the Lightroom file to an insane and unrealistic settings, I can't remember now, but it's either using clarity slider or using saturation or using dehaze, you can clearly see how this blue dot or this dot just pops to you, and I'm almost sure that without polarizer I wouldn't get it. So if you know what's the problem, maybe you could help me out. Tell me if it is the reason of the polarizer, if it's my camera, if it's the lens, because I dealt with the same issue in the previous shots. I can show you some of those as well. And yeah, I would really appreciate your help in this matter. I can most of the times hide it in the image by tweaking it a bit, but I don't really like it, and I'm not sure how it would look printed, and it's better to avoid it and know what's causing it. And I really like how the light, okay, now I need to check if the exposure is well, because now it's getting darker. I'm going to do it right now. Give me a second. Okay, there you go, we're back. I'm sorry for that, it was totally, I was in the dark. So what I really liked, what I mentioned, is the light behind the tree. That the whole scenery got lit up. I think I should do more of images like that, that my subject is not lit up, not necessarily, but the background is. I will be looking for locations like that, that I could use this principle. Either get the subject lit and the background is not lit, or vice versa. So I realized that during the video making process and during my little experiment, I defined slightly better my values. I realized that I don't really have to be going to these fancy places. Of course it's nice, and I have to develop myself and develop my skills, but to go to Greenland, go to Iceland, go to Norway, go to all these different places that photographers, landscape photographers especially, want to visit and they dream about visiting, so am I. Of course, but I realized that I don't have to, how to say, that I don't have to blame myself for not going. I can easily go out in the fields as such and set up and still play with light. I can still try to capture little moments, try to capture something that attracts my attention, even in my location. I think it's good to be a, how to say, a master at your location, knowing what's working well at particular times of the day, particular times of the season, so you can get the results from your location. And Finn Hobson was interviewed in a Togcast. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the landscape photography podcast. I wasn't a couple of weeks ago, but now I do, and I love those. Finn Hobson really brought this idea to me that you should become a master of the locations that you're shooting at, that your location that surrounds you, and don't bother or don't blame yourself for not going to these fancy locations. Become good at shooting what you have around yourself, kind of. And yeah, I don't know what I'm ambling. I'm going to be going home. It's getting a bit chilly here, and of course I have to changing the aperture constantly to get myself lit. And yeah, next video is going to be aimed at autumn, and as I can see, the lights, how to say, the leaves already getting colorful, and it's something that I have never thought about before, or something I would never be pursuing. It's maybe second year in my life that I'm running after colorful trees, if we can say that. I'm really concerned which forest would be best, which time of the month I should go there, and stuff like that. Just overwhelming myself with thoughts, as I like to do. But probably I should just go out and this week or next week and shoot some forest until it's too late. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. I need some images for my calendar that I'm going to be making as well, for myself, for my family. Maybe some of you guys will like it. So I need some autumn images, definitely. I have maybe 2 of those, and I shared with you previous week. Yeah, that's it. Bye for now. Have to go now. See you. There you go.